ahead and get started the budget and finance meeting. This is meeting that we're going to have Dr. Battle give her budget presentation for the meeting. We're using the same process that we did last year because we feel like if it's not broke, don't fix it. And so we're going to go through just where we are, kind of continuity of service, and then talk about the aspirational budget. And that's going to be presented. And then we'll have a meeting in 2 weeks to have a work session to really just discuss through the different elements that's presented today. And then in April, we'll have a vote on the budget to present to the mayor's office, or no, vote on the aspirational and the focused budget priorities for the budget for the mayor's office. So I'm just going to hand over to Dr. Battle.
Thank you, Ms. Blair-Peters, for level setting us and putting us on a course of success with our budget process. So good afternoon to everyone else as well. And we'll just go ahead and jump right in. You each have a copy of the slides in front of you, as well as an accompanying document that is a draft of where we are, and we'll continue to adjust and adapt as needed. So we'll get started with our focus investments for the 22-23 cycle. Of course, we'll start with our core tenants. These are 4 core tenants, which would be focusing the work of our support hub and our teams all across the district. Again, you're familiar with these 4 core tenants that help keep us grounded and focused. Our core tenants, of course, are surrounded by our focus outcomes for our students in the areas of literacy, numeracy, social emotional learning, and transition, specifically at those transition years of 5th grade, 9th grade, and after graduation. And helping us to achieve those focus outcomes are 14 signature initiatives that will operationalize our core tenets to achieve our focus outcomes. And so, as you all know, we start all of our presentations and discussions with our core tenets, our focus outcomes, and our signature initiatives for alignment in the work that we do daily. So before we go over our proposed FY 22-23 budget, we have some information included to review about our current operating budget process and what sets Nashville apart from many of the other districts in our state. So on this slide, you'll see our current operating budget, which included a record-breaking investment by Mayor Cooper and Metro Council of $84 million that resulted in an operating budget of more than $1 billion. The bulk of that investment came in the form of teacher and staff pay, with $44.7 million for a new teacher pay plan that resulted in MNPS having the best paid teachers in the state of Tennessee across all levels of service, while also establishing a 2% COLA for all certificated administrative and support staff, as well as step increases for all eligible employees. We also funded employee insurance and benefits, saw an increase to our required charter school transfer amount, and received an investment in advocacy centers and school psychologists. Some of this was funded through a reduction in our textbook budget as we shifted those costs to ESSER, as well as savings in our SBB budget. Metro Nashville Public Schools, as you all know, shoulders the heaviest burden when it comes to our share of the overall statewide local match requirements. Here you'll see the current BEP funding statewide, which has a 66% state match to a 34% local match. Now, the BEP budget provided from the state for MNPS shows that we have a 59% share of the funding requirements to their 41%. But when you look at our actual operating budget, it is closer to a 73% local taxpayer burden for our public school system, with 27% provided through state funds. I'll let this slide sit there for just a moment.
Let it marinate. Let it marinate.
Now here we see some of the investments the mayor and Metro Council made into our capital infrastructure, with money to complete the new James Lawson High School that will replace the aging Hillwood High School building, along with land and planning funds for a new Antioch Cluster Elementary and funds to start the repairs and renovations for Percy Priest, Paragon Mills, and Haywood Elementary, in addition to funding for a new track and stadium at Hunters Lane and $85 million for a district-wide maintenance, technology, transportation, and school safety and security. Now, as you know, MNPS follows a student-based budgeting model where the dollars flow with the student to the school for the administration to make investments in the unique supports and resources to match that student body. This study from Georgetown University in 2019 shows that MNPS made one of the largest investments in student-based budgeting compared to peer districts. This should also be a visual that we're very familiar with. Here is our current operating budget, and you'll see that when you combine our school-based budgets and our charter school allocations, almost 70% of our dollars flow directly to schools, with $270 million in district-provided services and $48 million to address fixed costs associated with operating a district our size. So what you see here on this slide is our proposed continuity of operations budget. As you all know, we'll start with a baseline budget for FY 21-22 of $1.17 billion. In keeping with last year, we are including the step increases for support and certificated employees in the continuity of operations budget to ensure fidelity to our pay scales, as well as likely increases in certificated and support pension and insurance. We also have a variety of mandatory charges for Metro to include IT, radio shop, and IOD insurance, much of which has yet to be determined by Metro Finance, along with a required MDHA transfer that hasn't been fully determined yet. And this is pretty common this time of year. We've just not received those numbers from Metro government. Adding in there about $4 million for inflationary increases due to supply costs or sunsetting state and federal grants, along with our mandatory charter school estimated to be $18 million with anticipated new revenues and enrollment. That gives us a preliminary continuity of operations budget of $1.66 billion before we add a discretionary or aspirational budget expense. And so I'm going to ask Chris Henson, our Chief Financial Officer, to approach the podium. And Chris, if you would, please, if there are additional details with regards to our continuity of operations budget that you would like to share with the board members, please do so at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Battle, and good afternoon. Just a few things. Dr. Battle really covered it. I think it's important that we are including in our continuity of operations the salary step increases for both our certificated staff as well as our support staff. This does not include any across-the-board COLA, a cost of living adjustment, yet. This, again, is just moving from one year to the next at the same level of service. That's the intent of what we are calling our continuity of operations. A 4.7% inflationary increase is very reasonable considering the current economic situation that we're in, with inflation running over 7% on an annualized basis. And as Dr. Battle said, there are a number of things that are just unknown at this point, many of which come to us from Metro government or Metro Finance. We do have a recommendation from the insurance trust of a 12% increase in insurance premiums. Of course, the district pays 75% of our employees' insurance premiums. That $11 million is already reflected. What we do have is an estimate for our support staff insurance. That decision will be made by the Metro Employee Benefit Board. And so we are including an estimate of approximately a 10% increase in insurance premiums for our support staff. That equates to that $3.15 million number you see on the screen as part of our continuity of operations. Again, we don't know what to expect from the pension rates for either our certificated employees or our support employees. And then many of those charges, the IT charges, the building and contents insurance, the MDHA property tax refund, all of those come to us from Metro, and usually they come to us later in the process, sometimes even after the board has approved its own budget proposal, because they are based upon, in many cases, internal service fee calculations based upon the proposed budgets for certain Metro general government departments. And so they don't know what those numbers are yet, so they can't provide those to us. The $18 million charter transfer, that is mainly driven by additional funding, which we're very glad to receive. We are estimating that our current year local option sales tax revenue will exceed Metro Finance's projections by approximately $100 million, which goes into the calculation of the per pupil amount for our charter students. That is their pro rata share. And then we're also anticipating another increase in our funding level for next year. And so that number is basically driven by increased local revenue, either the current fiscal year or what we're projecting for the next fiscal year. So happy to answer any questions if I left anything out or if anybody has some clarification needed.
All right, thank you, Chris. And of course, we'll have time at the end of the presentation as well if questions do come up. So here on this slide, we have our 4 budget priorities adopted by the board at the last retreat. The first one being employee compensation. Retaining and recruiting talent is the single greatest strategy for sustaining and improving student outcomes. Last year, we saw the largest single investment ever in employee compensation to have the best paid teachers in the state. Now, we need to improve pay scales for support staff positions that are difficult to fill, to market pressure, as well as proposing other compensation strategies. The second priority is continuity of federally funded initiatives. This is a new category that will focus on the many different strategies that we have funded through ESSER, the ELC grant, and other federal programs that would require local or state funding to continue on after the end of these grants in September of 2024. For example, at some point, our funding for school nurse expansion will run out, and if we want to meet our goal of having budgeted for a nurse in every school, we'll need additional recurring funds to do that. Similarly, programs such as restorative practice assistants and some of our advocacy center staff are funded through federal grants currently. We will be progress monitoring these ESSER strategies through various metrics that can inform the board's funding goals in the future. The next 2 categories will represent new investments, items that haven't been funded through ESSER or operational budgets in the past. You might think back to that one-pager, that color-coded document again, in order to further expand our current offerings. There are 2 categories, academic and SEL integration, which was a board priority last year, and operational improvements and school support, which can cover everything from maintenance to transportation to technology and more that help us to better serve our students and our schools. Academic and SEL integration is a priority because improving literacy, numeracy, and social-emotional learning and around our focused outcomes is our top goal here at MNPS. Operational improvements in school support helps us to ensure students arrive on time, they have access to internet and technology, and we can hire and staff our schools, which is essential to supporting the work that is happening in classrooms all across our district. As a reminder, the board's top priority for the last several years has been employee compensation, and we have worked closely with the mayor's office to achieve our goals of retaining and recruiting talent with competitive pay. The mayor's office has worked in partnership with Nashville Public Education Foundation on a teacher pay study last year that was funded by Metro government, and a support pay study is currently in the works. Here's the current timeline for the pay studies that are currently being done. We've implemented the teacher pay plan in this current fiscal year and plan to address support employee pay in this upcoming budget with a review of other certificated staff by 23-24 and a continued review of both certificated and support staff for competitiveness. At the bottom of this slide, we have the cost for a step increase in each 1% COLA increase for both certificated and support staff. This is not to indicate that we only plan for a step and a 1% COLA increase, but to provide the board with those costs for consideration as we develop our budget so that you have an understanding of what each percent will cost us to address both certificated and support staff. In addition to the aforementioned study, we also have identified a few strategies that would go towards supporting employee retention and recruitment that includes paid family leave, so staff can take care of loved ones when they are ill or take care of newborn children. Paid Veterans Day holiday, which is currently a day off but has not been previously funded for non-12-month employees, as well as the possibility of recruitment bonuses for teachers and other staff, and a continuation of transportation incentives that have been implemented this year as a way of encouraging driver attendance and new hires while the pay study is being developed. As a district, we have been fortunate to receive a considerable amount of federal funding as a result of the pandemic, which will be starting to expire in the next few years with the current ESSER 3 deadline of September 2024 to spend or revert those funds. The following represent programs or initiatives that have received investments and would need local funding to offset the loss of federal revenue if we are to continue these programs in the years after ESSER lapse. We'll start with programs that fall into the academic and SEL integration buckets. Advocacy centers. In our current operating budget, the Mayor and Metro Council allocated funding to expand our advocacy center program to all elementary schools. But there were some that were funded with ESSER prior to that investment. This would ensure that we have ongoing operating funds for this program to last as we move forward. Restorative practice assistants. Having restorative practice assistants and peace centers throughout our middle and high schools will result in fewer behavior incidents and better academic and SEL-focused outcomes for our students. We have begun that expansion under ESSER and hope that it proves a successful strategy worthy of additional local funding in the future. Community Achieves expansion. One of our universal strategies under Metro Schools Reimagined is for Community Achieves to be in all schools to provide wraparound services for both students and families. $6.3 million represents the investments we're making through ESSER to expand this program to 90 schools throughout the district. Mental health counselors. We know that the pandemic has taken a toll on the mental health and well-being of everyone, so including the students we serve. And so we've partnered for these additional SEL supports of mental health counselors to meet the needs of our students. Promising Scholars. Our summer learning program is a key strategy to accelerate the learning progress of students. Implemented last summer, we plan to have a continuation of this program going forward, but both as required by state law and in accordance with our signature initiative. Social workers. Having trained adults in connecting students and families with wraparound services can improve their quality of life and result in better attendance and improved focus outcomes. Nurses in every school. Through our EOC grant and ESSER, we are funding for a nurse in every school with 2 in large high schools and a strike team for support, which has been a long-term goal of the district, which we hope to achieve and to continue in the future. And then Metro Schools Reimagined, our college and career readiness. Continuing funding to implement a systemic infrastructure to support schools and students to promote a college and career culture, to increase investment in instructional materials and resources for advanced academic courses, to coordinate all AVID-related work, including school certification, professional development, support strategies, and so on. Expanding all advanced academic programs within clusters per Reimagined Ed work. High school promising scholars focusing on college and career readiness and ACT prep for students throughout the year. So here's what our federally funded initiatives that focus on operational improvements and school support represent. On the left column, you'll see several strategies that have been funded to enable us to be a one-to-one district, including a device refresh for student and staff laptops at a rate of 1/3 of our stock annually to ensure they're up to date, technology device support stipends and expanded student helpline support, device repair technicians and Intune system support for secure logins. We also have represented here our community support hubs, which are active at 4 area enrollment centers and are an offshoot of our virtual help centers from the 22-21 school year, as well as an intake specialist for attendance, intervention, and funding to support our alternative learning center redesign. Now that we've covered employee compensation and some of our aspirational requests to replace federal funding with local dollars, let's discuss some of those programs and initiatives that have been funded locally or federally as of yet that would help us to achieve greater student outcomes and staff support. One of our other board priorities is around academic and social-emotional learning integration. Metro Schools Reimagined, we have investments designed to support students with investments in band programs and transportation for college and experiential learning opportunities. Also expanding our SIFE program. Due to the growing population of new Americans, we need additional SIFE support, particularly in the Antioch area. Expanding our blended pre-K. This would be to expand our blended pre-K program in the Southeast to support exceptional and general education students. Child Find, to increase the capacity of our assessment team to provide required intake services for students and families. An investment in school counselors. This category involves several strategies to increase the number of school counselors, moving to a true 250-to-1 ratio that ensures we have additional supports in our student-based budgets, as well as college and career counselors and counselor supervision support. We also see an investment here around social workers in order to support the wraparound services that families and students need in order to boost their academic and SEL-focused outcomes. A science curriculum coordinator. This request is to ensure strong content knowledge in the science and STEAM department to lead professional development, scope and sequence work, as well as assessment development. Leadership framework support, ensuring alignment and support for implementation of our leadership framework. ACT and college prep, funds to prepare students for success on the ACT exams and help identify college and career pathways. An investment in equity integration coaches and summit. Implementing our equity roadmap will require additional support for schools to make sure equity is not just a talking point, but a lived reality in our daily experiences. These funds will provide for coaches as well as an equity summit and DEI, mini grants for diversity, equity, and inclusion integration into our culture. And also trauma-informed schools, supporting students with adverse childhood experiences through trauma-informed practices that will reduce disparities in education and promote the mental and social-emotional well-being of all of our students. Now we'll move into our operational improvements and school support. First on your left, you see instructional technology support. An investment in more technology means more technology issues will come up at the user, school, or district level. And having additional instructional technology staff available to support them will ensure a more seamless teaching and learning environment across the district. An investment in technology reboot to improve operations between technology services and instructional technology divisions. Increasing our cybersecurity. School security is not just physical security, but also cybersecurity to protect our district's information, as well as that of our students and staff who might be vulnerable to cyber attacks. This would add an additional cybersecurity staff member to protect our network. An investment in network monitoring tools. Monitoring and responding to slowdowns and outages will help us keep our systems up and online for uninterrupted learning. An investment in our personalized student dashboard. If we truly want the personalized student dashboard to be even more user-friendly with graphics and information that families can use to best understand the focused outcomes of their children, exploring the use of Microsoft user portals is a solution that can help us do that. An investment in family support. Family support includes additional family support representatives to help with both the school options process as well as exploring improvements to our registration and application systems to ease use for families. Strategic initiatives and investments to leverage and manage opportunities with local funds, as well as to explore grant opportunities that will pay for themselves. We need additional staff capacity in the strategic investments and initiatives realm to move forward and track results to focus outcomes of our students. I'll continue on with operational improvements and school support on the next slide. An investment in construction and sustainability. This would include a construction project manager and sustainability manager to achieve cost savings through best practices that result in projects coming on time and under budget, while also reducing energy costs. Additionally, this includes diversity consulting to ensure we're giving opportunities to women-owned and minority business contractors. Maintenance supplies and materials. Moving maintenance and supply materials to the operating budget would save long-term financing costs and ensure a reliable source of revenue for needed supplies. An investment in energy and conservation techs. Promoting energy savings will reduce overall costs to the district while helping to achieve environmental benefits. An investment in human resources supports to improve the onboarding experience and being able to quickly respond to employees' ongoing need by combining compensation and employee resource centers to help with our expansion around our supports for orientation, onboarding, and mentoring for employees, implementing our leadership framework and support evaluations, for new educator support teams, for enhancements around our supports for educator licensure, for credentials and national certification reimbursements, to hopefully what we've envisioned is to bring fingerprinting in-house with appropriate approval from the state, for increased support leave requests so that we can do those in a more timely fashion and in a supportive way to our employees. On the right side, you see an investment in no-cost meals for all of our students. We currently have no-cost meals available for all students under a USDA waiver that is set to expire. This funding would allow us to provide no-cost meals for schools that are not CEP eligible so that students and families aren't prevented from getting a lunch because of their ability to pay. Next, you see an investment in student health clinics. This is a strategy to support the health and well-being of both students and their families who may have trouble accessing healthcare resources. By developing student health clinics in schools that would have full-time healthcare employees and the equipment needed to provide basic medical care or referrals when necessary. And also an investment in student transportation to increase student accountability, where we can have students scanning in and out and then provide more accurate and timely communications to families, for transportation supervision support, for driver and family customer service to our families as needed, and for contracted transportation support. And I would like to end with just a quick overview slide of what happens in our budget process. We will continue March through April, given the direction of the board, with our community meetings and our engagement around our budget building process. In March through April, the school board budget and finance meetings will help continue to refine our budget proposal. Again, we're trying a different approach to this budget building process in an aspirational way, and in close partnership with the mayor and Metro Council. In April, the school board will vote on the budget to keep us on track. By April 30th, the mayor will present his budget to council, and remember that was a happy day for us last year with the historic investment. In May, Metro Council will hold its own budget hearings, and then in June, Metro Council will vote on the final budget, and we will make the necessary adjustments if needed. And so, Ms. Player-Peters, as I conclude the budget presentation and the information presented here, I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much. I'll say a very thorough presentation. We'll take a few minutes to ask any questions, especially any clarifying questions. We'll use the next meeting to really kind of dig in and have more thoughtful conversations about the allocations and our thoughts of how we want to fund and how do you want to address our priorities. But if there's any questions about any of the information that was covered about him. Ms. Tyler.
Yeah, I had a question about the last slide, the student health clinics. Are those going to be a separate thing, or are they going to be part of Community Achieves, only at Community Achieve schools? How are we deciding who's going to receive those?
Yes, that's a great question. So we're first looking at, as many of you might be aware, in years past, we've had some student health clinics. We currently have two. We have one at Maplewood High School, and we also have one at Pearl Cone High School in partnership with two of our great partners. And so we're looking first to start in those high school locations that already have the infrastructure, if you will, to handle the clinics. So we're thinking about it in that way. We also have some mobile clinic opportunities through our ELC grant that we're looking to leverage. But we want to start kind of in the high school cluster model as we begin to build out the clinics across our district. But we have some opportunity to leverage some of our facilities that have been homes to health clinics in the past. And we're also looking to leverage our school nurses as a part of that initiative as well.
And then I want to flip back and look at the mental health counselors. You very specifically said that we were using these for students, and I just wanted to ask how are we supporting our teachers with their mental health?
Yes, that's a great question. Melissa Roberge, if you would approach the podium and talk specifically about our employee mental health supports.
So specific to our teachers, the insurance trust, which I think Ms. Masters sits on, does a lot of work with mental health for our teachers. They offer counseling supports. We've just done a survey to kind of determine which way our staff like to access the supports. Is it a one-on-one counseling session? Is it a group counseling session? Is it just receiving materials? So we are taking our teachers' mental health and all of our staff's mental health very seriously.
And I will also add, just recently, we've communicated out those mental health supports again to our staff members, kind of surveying, as Ms. Roberge just mentioned, to see what adjustments we need to make, but very proud of the work of the Insurance Trust and David Hines and his team for making those adjustments and continuing to push in those supports as needed. Thank you, Ms. Roberge.
I think we need to remember that our students' mental health is directly affected by their teachers' mental health. So we really have to make sure we're taking care of both. And then the last question I had was, you had in the competitive pay for the employee compensation a cost for a 1% COLA increase. How did we decide we were going to use a 1% is that just like a basic?
Yeah.
So we have a number, because I know like this year, I think it's 5.9%. So.
Yes, that's correct. So as I mentioned, as I was going through it, that number is only there for you to see what each percent will cost, because we often get questions, will it be a 3%, will it be a 5%? And so the easiest way to communicate that is to share what that 1% is for certificated and for support staff. We'll continue to firm that number up as we move through this budget process, learn more, hear more from the mayor, Metro Council around what that looks like. And I'm proud to report that they're very open and supportive to those conversations. We've just not landed on what that COLA will be yet. But for just wondering minds, if you're looking to do any of the math behind it, it's easy to do knowing what each percent will cost for the COLA.
I figured that was, I just wanted to make sure I understood that. Thank you. And then I just wanted to just take a moment and kind of say that I'm really proud of the fact that you guys are prioritizing the things that we've asked you to, and that you're really showing that, put your money where your mouth is, as far as making sure that we're looking at compensation for our support employees, our bus drivers, our nutrition services, all the people, our aides, the people who do the everyday one-on-one work, that we need to give them a living wage. We need to. So I think I'm glad to see that is I'm seeing it here, as opposed to just talking about how we want it. So that is important. And then I'm also glad to see things like no-cost meals for all going to continue, and not necessarily dependent on a grant, but hopefully that is just what we do for our students to make sure that they are fed. So thank you.
Yeah, and if I could, again, just commending this board on the budget priorities. Employee compensation for the last several years has been a top priority. And so I appreciate that. I know the staff appreciates that priority, and continuing to move forward with implementation.
Masters?
I'll save all of the minutia for when we get into it a little bit more. But I did want to find out first, under the operational improvements, where within all of this does it fit to work on our Wi-Fi connectivity in schools? And in here, yeah.
Well, two places. One, we have leveraged our ESSER funds most recently to beef up our Wi-Fi supports and our assessment. We've had team members on the ground doing that, and we've been implementing new supports to keep that going. But if you're looking on page, slide 21, I believe it is, you will see the instructional technology support as well as the technology reboot. So there's two spaces. We've got to continue with the investments we already have in place from our ESSER funds, but then these are additional enhancements to help make sure that not only do our students and staff have devices, but they can connect throughout the academic day.
Awesome. And I just want to know where that landed so I could keep an eye on it. My only other thing for right now is when we're talking about employee compensation. So I see that I'm really glad we're going to look more closely at support staff pay, of course. But I see that we've moved pay scales for other certificated staff to 23-24 as a priority, and I'm just concerned about how long it's been since our school-based administrators, our principals and APs within the schools have had a meaningful pay increase. So I just kind of wanted to talk about, where we are on that and, how long has it been? And I love that we want to appropriately compensate our teachers and our support staff, but I want to be sure that, particularly given this difficult past couple of years, that we're doing what we can to hang on to our principals and assistant principals and school leadership as well.
Yeah, and so I'll remind us, even with our certificated pay staff, it took us a couple years to get through that study and level of implementation. We prioritized, and these were conversations that happened at the time that we were rolling out the plan, that we will prioritize support pay, and then we'll move into our administrative pay. So they would be the next set of leaders who would be a part of the pay study through our next year budget building process and our budget cycle. But as a reminder, so when we've been talking about the pay studies, but the step increases, the COLAs, we've applied to every employee across the board.
Okay. All right. And I would also just like to put forward at this point that, should we choose to look more deeply at our custodial services and particularly at that contract for that outsourcing, I would like us to consider if we were to bring custodial staff back under the umbrella of MNPS. We have a lot of custodians who have worked through they worked for MNPS, then they worked for the consulting firm or whatever they're called. I'd like to also look at giving them back pay for the pay that they've lost while they've been compensated at a lower rate by the outsourced company. So I'm just putting that forward here, and that I would very much like our custodians to be back under the umbrella of Metro Nashville Schools.
Yeah, we'll have to continue that conversation. I think there's some assumptions in that statement that we need to unpack and have more dialogue around.
Great.
Ms. Elrod.
Thank you. I have obviously not had the chance to look through this entire draft product, but I know underneath the, say slide 17, it has the mental health counselors for 3.1 million, and then we have on slide 20 social workers and school counselors. How are these different initiatives different from each other, and what do they do differently?
Yes,
From each
very different services. Dr. Springer, if you mind addressing the podium. The specific question is the difference in what mental health counselors provide as opposed to social workers and school counselors?
The school
Yes.
counselors.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your question. For the mental health service providers, the external service providers, they are more about providing an individualized approach to mental health support. So you will find those contractors or contracted services providing similar supports close to counselors and social workers. So if I were thinking about this, for the contracted services, those services closely align what counselors would do, and they also integrate what social workers would do. And so our social workers really focus on social emotional needs as well as social services and providing supports and aligning outside resources. Our counselors provide a more counselor type approach to mental health, personalized to what the student may need, and this individual that will be providing supports and services through the contracted work will also provide similar services. So in all and in essence, those supports and services are very similar with minor changes or shifts.
And not to be confused with social emotional learning needs and mental health supports. Those are two very different needs and levels of intensity to make sure our students have what they need to reengage into the classroom and to be successful. So not to confuse those two. They're very different, supporting the social emotional learning needs and the mental health needs of our students.
Absolutely.
So the mental health counselors that we have underneath the continuity of federally funded initiatives, that seems like it's currently made up of school counselors and social workers. as of right now. So are we saying that in the future, underneath this continuity of service, instead of it being provided by those current counselors and social workers, it would be done by these contracted services that are close to that type of service? And instead it would be more of an integration of service instead of made by these direct type of counselors?
Absolutely. So what you see in here is a variety of services, and yes, they will integrate the supports and services. Again, as Dr. Battle mentioned, for the counselors, they will integrate SEL and mental health supports. And when we think about the contractors, they are focused on mental health support. So that is what you will see. I'm working to get to the space where you are in your document. But yes, ma'am, that is the difference.
And I guess my follow-up to that is if we, is this 3.1 million from mental health counselors, is that based upon our current need because it's a continuity? Or is it based upon if we fund the social workers at that 5.2 million?
What you see in the continuity of operations, continuity of federally funded initiatives is what we're currently investing.
Right.
And if we want the same level of service, that's what we'll need to maintain those mental health counselors and supports in our schools.
Okay. So if we increase the school counselors and the social workers, as we should, on slide 20, next year's continuity of initiative is where that would increase, not this year.
That's correct.
To do that integration.
Correct. So
Okay.
we've already planned for the investment around continued mental health counselors in our schools. So everything you see in the continuity of federally funded, we've planned for budget-wise. The tension here is that those funds are going to sunset soon. And so those strategies that have the greatest impact on our students that we want to continue, we've got to start planning now to get them in our operational budget so that we can maintain those levels of support as we move forward.
For the expanded blended pre-K, I know you mentioned that it was in the southeast area. Do we have an idea of how many classrooms that would be or what that means to expand it? Does that mean to expand services at our current capacity or does that mean expand our capacity?
Is to expand on our current capacity in that space. So we've done an assessment of what we currently have as far as our pre-K options are concerned, and based upon the expert advice of our pre-K team, our next kind of expansion space is to increase the number of blended classrooms we have, particularly in the Antioch space where we have capacity, we're at capacity, but the demand is still there for those blended classrooms.
Okay, and do we have an idea of how many classrooms that is?
Do you have that number, Mason?
I'm going to ask Dr. Williams to come up. He
Thank you.
oversees the pre-K department more directly than I do.
They are definitely wanted in southeast Nashville, so.
Yes, thank you for your question. It's one classroom, it's a pre-K teacher and 2 parapros.
Okay, so it's one class. Do we know where that would be?
The specific location, not specifically.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Do you guys have questions? Ms. Walker?
On the, sorry,
That's good.
the meals, the
No-cost meals?
no-cost meals, the waiver is ending. Is there a chance for an extension of that waiver?
Maura, thanks. If you can approach the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Battle, thank you. There is a chance, it's still going through Congress, but we have not heard
Okay.
anything yet.
So we have to plan in advance.
Yep.
Ms. Masters, Ms. Tyler?
I'm just wondering where within the budget does the department that helps with school support organizations, like the services that help them, file their paperwork, and where does that land?
So can you give me a little bit more information?
Like
so I
if
can-
you have a PTO and you have to file your paperwork and you need to talk to somebody, I'm not sure what division that is. What I'm really trying to figure out is how that, I see a future where Community Achieves could potentially be a big part of like working with our school support organizations. So I guess I'm just trying to wrap my mind around sort of where all of that lands right now.
Thank you, Chris. Go ahead. You can go ahead and respond.
Sure. As far as the financial obligations for school support organizations, they work with our school audit department. Our school audit department works very closely with schools with their student activity funds. And even though those school support organizations are considered separate entities from the school and from the school district, the school audit department provides guidance for those different groups as far as registering with the state. And then there's a state law that requires financial reporting by each of those school support organizations. So they work with them strictly relating to the financial piece, not relating to any of the other support that those groups might provide to schools.
Okay, cool, thank you. Yeah, having been in that position of doing that paperwork, I think there's definitely an opening for us to provide a little bit deeper and more meaningful supports to our school support organizations. And it feels like it could fit in with this idea of having community achieves in every school. So it's just something I would like to put on our radar as we're thinking about budgeting.
Ms. Tyler?
Yeah, so first I was looking at the sustainability manager, which I'm really excited about and very hopeful that we find somebody that fits that. And I was just looking at kind of the things that they would collaborate with and what they would be looking at. And I don't see anything about new builds in there. Are we also going to include a sustainability manager talking about our new schools to help making sure that we're saving money in the long run?
Yeah, I think that falls into a different role, but Maura, if you mind approaching the podium.
Thank you. It does, as Dr. Battle said, is a part of a different role, but but it is part of our construction plan that we will continue to have. We'd like to have a presentation of a gold for each one as we continue. But yeah, the sustainability manager will be working on all of our, with our student groups, with all of our energy savings, et cetera. So we're very excited about it also.
And will the sustainability manager also be like a liaison with the city on certain things?
Yes.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. And then my other question is about the employee compensation on the 15th slide. There's a line item for a recruitment bonus. So who's going to receive that bonus? Is that teachers, subs, parapros, all of the above, more?
Ms. Roberge will approach the podium. Thank you.
So that bonus would be for teachers in hard-to-staff areas. So your math teachers, your exceptional education teachers, it would just give us some flexibility to offer those types of bonuses to new teachers coming to the district.
And again, that would require an additional investment for us to be able to do, and outside of what we might be doing around COLAs and other step increases. Yes. That's correct.
And then I was just wondering why, if we are doing that, are we going to have a retention bonus for our teachers who have been doing twice the work that they've normally been doing, taking over classes for one another, doing things after school when they're not supposed to? I mean, all of the things that they've done, are we going to reward them?
So, Ms. Tyler, where you will see that is when we finish the compensation package.
Okay.
I would argue that what we don't want to do is just a one-time bonus if we can make it recurring in our teacher pay. And so that is the first approach we'll always take to make sure that it is funding and support that can be maintained over time as opposed to just a one-time bonus if we can avoid just the one-time bonus scenario. So we're continuing to dig into that compensation package and hopefully are able to address it and attack it in that way.
Yes.
And if not, we'll look at some other alternatives. But that's the goal, is to make it recurring as a part of our teacher pay.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that, and I will definitely be keeping an eye on that, hoping that we are able to do that. Thank you.
Ms. Buggs?
Thank you, Dr. Battle and team. I just had questions around the fixed costs. If I were to go to the community and develop a narrative around what fixed cost and district-provided services mean, considering that only less than 30% of what we spend goes to that, would I be correct in saying things like buses, bus drivers, what else?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to ask Chris Hinton to address your question, Ms. Bugs.
Sure, and good question, and we have actually a separate slide on that we can share with you at some point, which shows what those are. But as you said, those district-provided services are services that we don't require school principals to budget for, like transportation, like maintenance and repairs, utilities, school nurses, textbooks, those kinds of things that are provided on schools' behalf, but they make more sense because of economies of scale or whatever reason to provide those on a district-wide basis and not ask schools to budget for those within their student-based budgets. The fixed costs are mainly those costs that come to us from Metro government, as well as the largest portion of it would be insurance that we pay for our retired teachers. We pay insurance for our retired teachers, and that's something that's included in that fixed cost as well.
That helps, thank you. Ms. Player.
Thank you. We're going to close the Budget and Finance meeting. Again, on 2 weeks from now, we will have a work session where we'll get more into the details and have more of an open discussion about the various priorities. And I thank Dr. Battle and her staff by putting this together. I just want to remind everyone that there's a natural cost living cost, as you see every day in your inflation with your family budget that has to do with our current budget. And also be mindful of the, prior to Dr. Battle's tenure, the amount of cuts that happened to our budget that we're just now really, starting to recover from to even get to a basic fundamental part of the cost of what it takes to truly educate our children. We know we have funding reform that's going on at the state level. We have engaged Metro Council. Thank you to Mayor Cooper and the Metro Council last year by putting new revenues into our budget, particularly to fund our teachers and to do teachers to make them the best paid teachers in the state. That was not an easy feat. That was not a cheap feat, far from it. And to continue that and knowing what's going to cost in perpetuity. And so now that we want to do that for our support staff. But as we go through this, as the community advocates, look at the cost and look how the cost will continue for these investments and how to prioritize and how to advocate for that. That we are still recovering, even though it's a $1 billion budget, it's still not enough to advocate for our children, to educate our children to the level that we want, that we're still one of the lowest as a state.
Lowest funded state.
Lowest funded, thank you. The lowest funded school districts as a region in the United States compared to our peers in other cities. So just kind of put in perspective, it's a large number, but we're still behind as a region compared to other states. So just want to put that in perspective. And so I'll hand it over to Chair Buggs.
All right, thank you. With that, we will begin tonight's board meeting.